Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sarah from Blue Ridge Literacy. We are continuing on with our community partner video series today, and I'm so pleased to have Bethany Lackey with us. Bethany is the co-owner of A Tree Planted Counseling and also the executive director of Roanoke Refugee Partnership. So welcome, Bethany. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So today in particular, we're going to focus on mental health. So can you give us a brief description? What is mental health?
Sure. Mental health is very much a part of our physical selves and our physical health. Just like if we had the flu or something or broke a bone, we would go to the doctor or to the hospital. When something's wrong emotionally, then we would seek counseling help or help for our mental health. Essentially, mental health affects the way that we think about things. It is all about how we feel about things and just interact with the world around us. So it encompasses a lot of different important pieces of our lives.
That's great. Thank you. I think it's really good to keep people talking about mental health and how that can affect you. So specifically during this time right now, how might your mental health be affected?
Yeah, great question, timely question. This is a really tough time for a lot of people. People are really struggling right now because things that were normally sometimes really difficult have become even more difficult, like transportation, trying to get from one place to another, keeping your job and supporting your family, finding childcare, that which is always hard. All of those things have become even more difficult right now, and all of those things can affect your mental health too. um, because I've been seeing a lot of people who are very sad lately, and that can look like just going through your day and then suddenly bursting out crying and not knowing really where it comes from, or just not feeling like doing any of the normal things, not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to shower, just feeling like you're being held in place. And those are signs of um, mental health that is struggling. A lot of people right now are also very fearful. They're scared of a lot of different things, and they are um, just walking through life just full of fear and panic. And a lot of people are having trouble sleeping. um, a lot of people are feeling the need to drink more alcohol or something just to feel better. So it's also, it can be in our bodies too. Like it can feel like tension in our bodies. Some people hold tension right here, like clenching your jaw. Some people, I hold it right here. I feel like I have a weight on my chest when I feel that anxiety, or that, if I'm struggling mentally, I feel like this weight that's right here. Some people carry it in their shoulders, just like tense and tight bodies. So mental health is also very connected to your physical self too. And then on the more extreme side of it, some people are having trouble maintaining safety. Domestic violence is increasing because people have to stay home with their abuser, the person who is hurting them. And some people are having thoughts about hurting themselves, and they feel pushed to the edge, pushed to their limit, and feel very lost right now. And that those are all responses that are happening in a lot of different people.
Wow, thanks for breaking that down. There's so many different ways that our mental health can be affected right now.
Mhm.
That leads directly to physical health, including our surroundings and everyone around us. So, what are some tips to maintain good mental health during this time, or stable mental health?
Right. I feel like now is one of those times that it's so important, even if it feels like you don't have the time or the energy to do things to help yourself. Now is more important than ever to find ways to take care of yourself and help your own mental health. One thing, simple thing to do is just stop, just for a few minutes a day, just a few minutes, and then ask yourself, how do I feel? Where do I feel that tension, like the clenching or the tightness? Do I feel sad today? Do I feel anxious or fearful for something today? Just checking in with yourself and taking a few minutes to breathe. If you find yourself checking the news a lot, which I feel like a lot of us are drawn to, I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. If you're checking the news a lot, or if you're on social media a lot, where there is a lot of negativity right now, a lot of really sad things that are happening in the news. And if you're feeling drawn to be on that all the time, take a step back and take a break from it. Just give yourself only a certain amount of time to be on the news and check in with everything that's going on right now, because it can just be overwhelming and it can really affect how you're feeling. Um, One thing that I think is often overlooked is just being kind to yourself, giving yourself a break right now, because everyone is struggling, and tell yourself that these times that we're going through right now are not normal times. And so if we expect ourselves to function normally or to act normally and get all of the things done that we would normally do, and we're not meeting that, if we're not able to do that, listen to the messages that you're sending yourself. And if the messages are, I can't believe that you haven't gotten this done today, I can't believe that you feel like you can't get out of bed today, the messages that you send yourself, paying attention to those, and then having some compassion, being kind to yourself, and then turning those into kinder messages, just to say it's okay right now, because one, things are going to get better, but right now a lot of people are in the spot where they're struggling, and you're doing the best that you can. And these are really really difficult times and all. And then I would say another one is, if it's becoming really difficult to function, if you're just getting hit with a wave after wave, like you're on the ocean, and you're just getting hit with everything and you feel like you're being knocked back down, there is no shame in getting help for mental health. Like I said, it's very much a part of our physical selves and our physical health. It's taking care of your brain, which is a part of your body. And so, I mean, that's why our doctors recommend it, right? Is because it's very much a part of us as humans. And we all struggle when things get really tough, and some people try to really hide it. And it's really important that if you find yourself in a really tough position where it's hard to just walk through every day and it's hard to function, then going to a counselor can be really extremely helpful for people. Those are the doctors for our brains. Going to a counselor and working on our emotional selves as part of our physical and overall well-being. It's just, it's okay to be able to do that, and it's a normal thing to be able to do that.
Can you talk very briefly about what the experience is like of going to a counselor?
Yeah. Well, first, it can be a little bit scary. I remember when I went to a counselor for the first time, and just walking in and not knowing what to expect, and not knowing the person who's sitting in front of me and asking me questions about my life. And so at first it can be kind of scary. And when they're asking questions, it might feel like I don't know what to say. But it's about the emotional process. So going to a counselor will look like doing a little bit of paperwork to get in the door, and then sitting in front of someone who wants to be helpful, who is there to listen to you, who is not biased. So they're not going to take a side one way or the other, or say that you're wrong, or shame you for seeking help. It's someone who is kind and compassionate and will listen to what's going on and then help you figure it out. It's sort of like when our minds get all tangled, like imagine like a ball of yarn or something, and it's all tangled up. And then what the counselor does is help you pick out those pieces and then roll them all into these separate pieces so that you can understand it better, and so that your brain has a place to rest. has a place to work on the problems in a different way. You see things from a different viewpoint, and they help you work through those problems.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I think
Mhm.
that's really important. I know people may be interested in seeking counseling, but not sure what that will look like. So I think that's good to
Sure.
hear some insight. So, what are some, excuse me, what are some community resources that may be accessed to help with mental health right now?
Yeah, one is sort of my go-to service, which is Family Service of the Roanoke Valley, and they're available with counselors and mental health help. And then Blue Ridge Behavioral Health, they have a lot of different resources. So it doesn't matter what sort of level of mental health help you need, they can get in and figure out what exactly you need. And if you need some sort of medication, for example, for mental health support, then they can help you get connected with that as well. If you want to look for a counselor yourself, like if you want to read a little bit about them and you want to connect them, email them, ask questions, like you could do that even if you have questions about the process. You could even email me personally and ask about what counseling is like. But if you want to look for different counselors and read about them, you can go on Psychology Today and find a therapist, and you can see all the counselors who are on there from Roanoke and click each individual and then read a little bit about them and email them or call them for more information. There are also a couple of hotlines that I want to talk about. If you are in a situation in which you are being abused at home, if someone's hurting you, and you're in a domestic violence situation, then you can call SARA, and that's an organization that's here in Roanoke, and it's specifically geared toward abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse. And so they have a 24/7 hotline that you can call. Carillion has a crisis hotline. So if you are having thoughts of hurting yourself, killing yourself, then you can call Connect, which is the Carillion hotline. And then there's a one for Lewis Gale, which is in Salem. They also have 24/7 crisis hotline called Respond.
Okay, so we will be posting all of the phone numbers and links at the end of this video if you're interested in following up on any of those. Well, again, thank you so much, Bethany, for coming and sharing some of your
Yeah,
expertise and your passion. I think that's really important for everyone to hear more about.
yeah, thank you so much for for having me. I love talking about this stuff, and I think it's so important, and it's changed a lot of people's lives. It's changed my life. And I just want to say, like, I know that things are really, really hard right now for a lot of people, but they're going to get better. Things are going to get better. Better days are coming. But if you feel very stuck in place, then it might be time to reach out.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks.